Well, 3 years ago, every day after school, I was worried walking home because a friend of mine got stabbed in the arm exactly about 2 blocks from my house. So every day I was very scared walking home, panicking, didn't know what I was going to do. The only thing I was worried about was keeping myself safe. And next month, I'll be starting my first day at the University of Calgary, taking kinesiology. Pretty big jump. It's quite the experience to think about. I mean, think about where you start and where you've been going in just a few short years and what I've been able to attain. It's eye-opening for anybody.
Most times we're living about $11,000 to $12,000 a year to survive on, and it's difficult. I hear people talking about you can't survive under $50,000. Yes, you can. It may not be pretty, but you can do it.
There's some darker times you go through growing up in these parts of the city, and it's unavoidable to an extent.
When I first met Nick in 2006, if you had told me that we would be having these conversations, I don't know if I would have believed you. Only because he had the skills and he had the intelligence and all that kind of stuff, but there was no confidence there. He didn't believe in himself. And a lot of times kids from neighborhoods like these, they don't believe that they have the right to dream.
It's not just for each person, it helps the families, and I mean, it's provided me like a male figure in my life that I can look up to, and just multiple of them, and a lot of things that have helped me while I've grown up. And one of those things that when you're in a single parent family, especially when you're just living with your mother, 3 boys, you growing up, you need that in your life. You need some kind of male you can look up to, a success story, someone who's gone somewhere, is giving back. And that's what they really provided for us. That was the big part.
And he's like, Mommy, I'm going to be in hockey. And I was a single parent, and I'm like, how do I tell this little boy that I can't put him in hockey? And so I sat him down and explained to him that it was too much. But no, Mommy, look, and I read it, and sure enough, everything was covered. So I didn't even know there were programs like that out there.
Well, the very first time I stepped on the ice, I fell flat on my face because I've never been on skates before. It was a lot harder than I thought, and the whole first year, I just learned to skate. That was it. It was just going 2 feet at a time before falling, holding onto someone's hands and trying not to fall. And it just kind of showed me that even in hockey, you have to work. If you want to be good, you have to work. You can't quit.
Over the years, it was just chipping away at barriers, and you could see the belief starting to happen. And then when he got into high school, he realized that this was a realistic thing for him, and he went all the way. It would, in the hockey analogy, be the kid when he's 16, 17, and people start saying, you could be an NHL player, and it clicks for the kid, and they invest fully, and they want to chase that dream. Well, that's the same thing that happened for him. You feel really safe when you get to put on all that equipment, head to toe. You feel like nobody can touch you for that hour. And so, for a kid to feel safe for an hour or 2 hours and be around people who are going to make sure they stay safe, they start to get really empowered and that sort of thing. And you can see their confidence growing, and then our responsibility is to teach them the skills that they need to be successful without that equipment on, without that safety net around them.
Hockey is the basis to get these kids to come together, but they want to teach these kids, to stay in school. They want to teach these kids, you need to have a drive, you need to have a passion in life. And they want to teach these kids that, you need to work for what you want. It's not going to fall into your lap.
We have a chance to influence 40 more families in the Bowness area. That's going to put us over 100 kids in Calgary alone that our program is able to support between Bowness and Forest Lawn. And without the Flames, this program would not be opening in Bowness this year. There's no doubt about that.
I've heard around the league is that the Flames have one of the best, if not the best, charitable arm. And I'm so appreciative of what they're doing and what they've done.
I'm gonna be a hero.
Really proud of Nick as his older brother that he's able to get this really prestigious NHL scholarship. As to my knowledge, he's the first Canadian to ever get it. In fact, this is the first year they opened it up from the United States to Canada, and he's the first one to get it. So, that felt really good. As his older brother, I'm really proud of him.
I made so many different drafts. So much stuff got cut, I got added in stuff, and it took basically the entire time I had to write the essay I took to make sure I revised it and made it perfect, because I wanted to make sure that I was representing who I really was and what I really thought. It's kind of like going to Disneyland for the first time. You see the place as just something that's unattainable. You never think you're going to go there as a kid. It's like exactly what you picture it to be. Everyone's running around on the quad, throwing around a frisbee, and smiling faces, and big bright buildings, and everything's just in place. And it's just one of those places that you want to go to.
I've said before, he's done surviving and he's ready to thrive, and that he's going to take full advantage of the opportunity that he's been given.
There's no such thing as a completely self-made man. You can start from the bottom and work your way up, but there has to be someone there throwing you a lifeline at one point or another.